Hi everyone, welcome to the channel and my name is Manish Tiwari. So in this particular video, we are going to talk about scaling. And you might have heard this keyword most of the time. What is horizontal scaling? What is vertical scaling? Or in your team itself, you might have heard that we are doing horizontal scaling, we are doing vertical scaling. So what is this scaling and what is the difference between these two and how this is achieved? This is what I am going to explain in this particular video. Stay tuned till the end so that you can understand the actual concept and how the different kind of scaling works for the different kind of AWS services. This is what we are going to talk, or even about the Kubernetes system, how your scaling works in the Kubernetes system as well for the different purpose. Correct. Before that, I would like to introduce the batch 9 of the DevOps Interview Preparation Bootcamp batch, where we go for live for 5 days. We run our DevOps Interview Preparation Bootcamp batch course, where you learn about the interview preparation, you learn troubleshooting question, you learn the scenario based question, you learn generic interview questions like you have already prepared the DevOps thing. You have already gone through the course, or you are already working as a DevOps engineer. But the challenge is that you are not able to crack the interview. And why? Because there are scenario based questions which is being asked during interview. And the expectation is that you are able to grab the scenario and you are able to explain the concepts, correct? Explain the answer as well. And you are getting confused over there. So we are helping you over there. We are providing you all the scenario based question, all the troubleshooting question, the complete project explanation. Even if you have not worked on the DevOps project, you will be able to understand the project. You will be able to confidently answer those questions. So at the end of the session, after the 5 days, or you can say more than 14 plus hours, you are going to experience that you have already worked as a DevOps engineer, and now you are much confident to answer all the questions which are coming into your interview. Either it's the technical or the non-technical. We provide each and everything, like including your day-to-day activities, including how can you explain your project, including what are your day-to-day roles and responsibility. Everything we provide. Correct. So that way you can confident make yourself confident to appear for the interview. For more inquiry, you can drop a WhatsApp message on the number which is provided on in the description. Now let's talk about the scaling what we started with. So I was talking about vertical scaling, horizontal scaling, and how this scaling is done in RDS, how this scaling is done for your servers, the number of EC2 machines, correct? Or in terms of Kubernetes. Let's start from the understanding of these two keywords: vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Just suppose that you have a server, and server means that you have a AWS EC2 machine, because we are talking about the AWS cloud mostly. So let's understand it in terms of AWS cloud. You have one EC2 machine, and there are 100 number of users which are trying to log in into your application, correct? Which is hosted on EC2 machine. The moment the number of users are increasing from 100 to 500, 100 to 10,000, correct? You need to scale up. Your server should have capacity to accept all the load, to accept all the requests, so that it can respond back. Your application can respond back. It should not be the slow. The performance should not be the slow. Correct? How can you achieve this? Either you can increase the capacity of the same server, or you can increase the number of server. Right now, if it's running only on one server, you can replicate the number of server 1 to 5. That means now there will be 5 number of servers to handle your request, whatever the number of requests are coming to your server, correct? That is called horizontal scaling. When you are replicating the same server for the number of instances, that means 1 2 3 4 5. This is called horizontal scaling. You are just replicating the same configuration for multiple time, correct? Now let's understand about the vertical scaling. What is the meaning of the vertical scaling, correct? As the name itself suggests, vertical scaling, that means you are going to increase it in kind of length. You are increasing the capacity of the same server. So considering the moment when you created this server that was having the instance class as t2.micro or t3.medium, the moment you realize that there are number of requests which are increasing on your server, so there is need of high performance, correct? There is need of high resources. So now you will change the instance configuration from t2.micro to c5.x large, or t3 medium to c5.x large. So the moment you change the class of the instance, the number of CPU, the number of memory, like the 1 core of CPU, 1 GB of memory, this configuration will be changed to 8 core of CPU, 32 GB of memory. So the moment you change the capacity of this server, this particular concept of changing the capacity of the same server. It is called as vertical scaling. So you got the concept of vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. When you are changing the capacity for the same server, it is called as vertical scaling. And when you are creating the number of replicas for the same server, like 1 to 5, that is called as horizontal scaling. In terms of your AWS cloud, in terms of your EC2, and the generic concept about scaling. Now let's talk about the Kubernetes system. What is the meaning of HPA in Kubernetes? Horizontal pod autoscaling. When it comes to the Kubernetes, horizontal pod autoscaling has also the similar kind of meaning, that it will create the number of replicas. Like there are login microservices, there are notification microservices, and there are other microservices, correct? And the different microservice, that means your different application. To handle the request on all these different microservices, for all the different requests which are coming for the different microservices, like login request, or your cart related request, or your order related request. These are the number of requests which are coming for your platform, and you have to handle these requests. So how can you do? To achieve these kind of things, what can you do? You can enable horizontal pod autoscaling, HPA, in Kubernetes system. What does it do? The moment it realizes that CPU utilization is going how, the number of requests which are coming, those are going high. So it will try to create the number of replicas. Like initially, the pods which were running for your login microservice, there were only 2 number of pods. Now the moment it see that the number of requests are increasing, it will ensure that now 8 number of pods should run, now 6 number of pods should run for the same microservice. This is how your HPA works in the Kubernetes. There is multiple tools what you can enable for your Kubernetes system. Like there is a Carpenter, which is one of the tool which can be utilized for doing this auto scaling kind of thing. In terms of EC2, when we talked about vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, what is the AWS service, or what is the feature which can enable this thing, or how we can achieve this thing, horizontal scaling and other things? For that, you can have the auto scaling group, which is the property of your EC2 machine, which is one of the component. In the auto scaling group, you can configure your launch template, that how, based on the different parameters like CPU utilization, your memory utilization, the number of requests which is coming to the server, how these things can be configured to have your scaling done, correct? Based on the request which is coming, based on the CPU, your auto scaling will detect based on the policy that this kind of changes are happening, and based on that it will increase the capacity, increase the number of server. Now let's talk about one more important concept, RDS auto scaling. So when you create the RDS database, like you have created one database, production database, and you are going to enable the auto scaling. There's a feature of enable auto scaling in RDS. Like when you provide the configuration, you are going to provide the RDS instance class. You are going to provide the RDS storage. That means it will be having the 20 GB storage, and it will store all the data which you are going to write through your application. Now the moment when you enable the auto scaling, what will it do? Based on your threshold, like you have just said that based on the 80% of utilization of the database, like database storage is 20 GB right now, and the moment when 80% of it will be utilized, your enable auto scaling will work, and it will automatically scale the number your server storage capacity, correct? The database storage capacity. So the moment 60 GB of utilization will be done, it will automatically increase the storage size from 20 to 30 GB or 20 to 40 GB based on your configuration. It will do the scaling. But this scaling is not always required in the production system. We do not go with the enable auto scaling most of the time, because there might be some scenario where your application logs are getting generated. Your database is actually not full. It's filled based on your dummy data, or there might be replication lags due to which your database storage has been consumed the complete to 80%, and your enable auto scaling worked, and it has increased the storage. But the moment your storage has been increased from 20 to 30, you cannot reduce the storage, correct? So we generally avoid to go with the enable auto scaling. We set up alarm based on like notification. You can have your CloudWatch alarm or the different tool you can integrate, and the moment 80% utilization will be done, you will get a notification. Accordingly, you will troubleshoot, and you will either clean up your database based on the requirement, or you can manually increase the storage size so that you can save the cost. The moment you enable this auto scaling, what will happen? you will have to pay for each and every 1 GB what you are going to increase through auto scaling. So in real project, we avoid this. So in this particular video, what I wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about the scaling, vertical scaling, horizontal pod auto scaling, and RDS enable auto scaling. This is what we talked. If you want to learn in depth about these things, like you want to get into the cloud, you want to move towards the DevOps, we are running DevOps training as well, where we go from the scratch, like all the why cloud came into the picture, what is the cloud, what is EC2 machine, how can you create each and everything. If you want to prepare for interview specifically, like you want to just go through a scenario based question, day-to-day activity, troubleshooting things, we are running DevOps interview preparation bootcamp batch. Feel free to drop your WhatsApp message on the number which is provided in the description for inquiry. We will come up in the next video with the new topic. Till the time, thank you. Bye bye.